we are live. I am going to be sharing a channeled dragon message about the new year, but specifically for the full moon. So we're going to wait till a few people join. And if you're watching this on replay, so what we are going to be covering in this live today or replay, whenever you're watching this, is we're going to do a quick recap of the timeline reading that I did for 2025. So what's ahead of us this year and how we're going to start off this month of January, basically. I'm also going to share a channeled dragon message that came through that is connected to a specific water dragon. Water is a big element for January. I'm also going to be pulling some cards, reading some cards in connection to the channeled message and the full moon. And I'm also going to be sharing some clearing statements that came through that you can use. That is just for anybody watching connected to this full moon energy, specifically the beginning of the year, some clearing statements that you can work with that are channeled by the golden dragons. So yeah, I suggest that we just get started. And if you are joining later, just go back to the beginning. So yeah, last month I did a full moon message on the 12th, and it was the 12/12 portal. I don't really care much about specific numbers or these portals, because when you look at it in tropical astrology terms, yes, then that is a portal day. But the 12-month calendar is not necessarily the lunar natural calendar that we follow. Before the Gregorian calendar was introduced, we had a 13-month cycle. So basically, it is a special day. Like, I kind of do feel the energy of the collective because everybody is focused and setting intention on those days. And that to me makes those days special because people are setting intention, but it's not necessarily because it is cosmically a special day. I feel that it's more because people are using those dates to then create intention. But so last month on the 12/12 portal day is when I felt that, and I did a little reading, a little full moon message for December. I said December is kind of the trailer for 2025, is what I then said. And I still really feel that. And I do feel that December was a little bit slower than January is going to be for most people. So December for me was all about encouragement when it comes to embracing new beginnings, releasing old patterns, facing fears related to changes, and releasing deep-seated patterns, and prioritizing to avoid being overwhelmed. So this is something that you may have noticed that happened in December, that was coming through for you in December. And basically these shifts, I say this all the time, you can use these shifts as a modern day mystery school. All of these things that are happening right now, they are happening for you as your initiation. This camera is not really straight and that's annoying me. Let me quickly try to fix it. Okay. So this month, this full moon, according to, and again, I'm not an astrologer, I'm an Akashic Records reader, I'm an intuitive, I'm a channeler, I'm not really an astrologer. The full moon is, according to tropical astrology, in Cancer. And Cancer is all about emotional security, family, nurturing, personal relationships, emotional foundations. And sidereal astrology is the astrology that looks at the actual sky, at the true sky astrology. And when we look at it that way, the full moon is actually in Gemini. And that is more about curiosity, exploring new things, learning new things, knowledge. So that's what that is about. And I, for myself, always feel like there's aspects of both astrological practices that I can apply or recognize when we talk about these full moons in specific signs, or specific planets in retrograde, that it depends on where they are stationed. And I always recognize aspects in both ways, in both tropical astrology and sidereal astrology. So let me quickly go back to the timeline reading for 2025. If you have not watched the video yet, it is on my YouTube, and it is called Golden Dragon Timeline Reading for 2025. What I saw in this timeline reading was that there's basically two main timelines, but that they kind of overlap, so that you're going to notice that you're going to be going back and forth maybe, or you'll find yourself more in one timeline and then sometimes going to the other one. Timeline A is about higher learning and wisdom, and the theme energetically for people that are finding themselves in that timeline for the year 2025 is really about deepening the spiritual path that you already are on, with a focus on higher learning and wisdom. So this is all about rapid acceleration, fine-tuning the progress made in the previous year, is what that is all about. Timeline B is more about releasing old patterns and opening new doors. And the energetic theme is more about a gentler path focused on recalibration, self-care, and embracing new opportunities after working through the density of the previous year. So depending on what the year 2024 was like for you, you're going to find yourself leaning more towards timeline A or towards timeline B. So that is what came through for the entire year. And January is really all about setting the tone for the rest of the year. So if you are now feeling a little bit overwhelmed, you're feeling like things are going very fast, but at the same time, you don't really have any direction yet, it is perfectly fine. And so this full moon in 4 days, it's the full moon, and I'm definitely feeling both of these aspects that I said first. If we look at the full moon as being in the sign of Cancer, I can definitely feel all these things unfolding emotionally, everything that has to do with emotions, relationships, but I'm also feeling this search for new opportunities, new wisdom, that is also unfolding when we look at the full moon as being in Gemini. So these two things you may lean more towards more than the other, then just kind of honor where you are and what needs to happen for you. So the energy of Cancer is very much connected to water, and usually when I channel these messages for the full moon or the dragon messages, they are from the golden dragons, the seraphim. But now I started recently working with a water dragon, a new dragon. Well, not new, but a new dragon that I started working with, that has been working with me for a long time, that I just became aware of. And this dragon came through with a channeled message, but in essence, they are all connected to the seraphim. All dragons are angelic in origin. And this is a dragon that I wrote a children's story about the other day, that I talked about in a little video that you can find on my Instagram. And I'm just going to read this channeled message to you. So if you want, whether you're live or if you're watching this later on replay, it's up to you. You can just close your eyes for a little bit, or you can just relax as I read this message to you. The new year arrived quicker than you anticipated, and you thought you were going to have more time to finish all of those projects and to be where you or your ego wanted to be at this point in time. But you are exactly where you are supposed to be, and everything is exactly the way it is supposed to be. Everything looks exactly the way it is supposed to look right now. This month you are slowly going to start coming out of a cocoon, but it is important to not force anything. This month you are exactly where you are supposed to be. By the second half of the month, things will start to accelerate for you, and you will start to see an unveiling of things that previously felt veiled or foggy. So it is to preserve your energy that you are now being asked to trust the flow of things, even if that flow is slow, and asking you to slowly feel into life day by day. We ask you to take good care of yourself. Self-care is very important for you in this month. You are feeling like you are in a whirlwind and simultaneously in a protective bubble. And that is exactly where you are supposed to be right now. And just like water flows, it is important for you to flow with whatever presents itself this month. And just like water can be forceful but also gentle, it is important to recognize within yourself when it is necessary to adopt these different phases of water. Depending on what presents itself, learn to flow with what is necessary. Maybe you need to channel your inner forceful waterfall at some point. Maybe you need to channel your inner gentle creek. And this month sets the tone for the rest of the year. So that is the message that came through. And if you want, you can let me know in the comments if that resonates for you, what you recognize. So yeah, I feel that this month for a lot of people, you're feeling that there's a lot of stuff that's happening, that's going to happen in 2025. And you can't really tell yet when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. You just know that there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. And a lot of people have been telling me this, that they kind of feel like they don't really have a foundation for this year. So if you feel that way, just remember that water basically flows and shifts with whatever presents itself. So let me take a look at these cards. I pulled them, but I haven't looked at them yet. So we're gonna see. This is specifically for the month of January, but again, I really feel that this month is setting the tone for the entire year. It's like building a foundation, and you're gonna be building upon this foundation month by month. So, Moth. Mystery, concealment, illusion. And that is definitely the energy that I'm feeling for this month and this full moon in Cancer. When we look at it that way, feels like you're feeling a lot of emotions, but you cannot really grasp anything or solve anything, and that is fine, because it is basically an illusion. You're gonna be in this cocoon, and soon, the moth is already out of the cocoon, but it's kind of in the darkness. It is kind of in the darkness, but it is only an illusion. So just be happy with where you are. Then, Archangel Metatron, call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes, chakra clearing. And I feel this is connected, again, Metatron for me is always connected to ascension codes, awakening DNA, new information. And in the beginning I said that when we look at this full moon in Gemini, if we consider sidereal astrology, then this is what this is about: embracing new knowledge, awakening new memories that you already knew, knowledge, wisdom, that you are ready to now start looking at, and that is going to be this foundation for the new year. Now, Kuan Yin's pink dragon brings firm love that resets your karmic balance. See all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. Enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. Okay, so Kuan Yin, water, obviously. So don't hyper focus on where you want to be. You see, it's like the first month of the year. you're not exactly where you want to be yet. Maybe you have all these goals in mind. Just flow with wherever you are. Be happy with where you are, because this is going to be the foundation for everything that needs to unfold. And if you're finding yourself in one of these bubbles where you are in an emotional whirlwind, you feel all kinds of stuff, there's all kinds of stuff happening, like a bunch of loose ends that you feel that you need to tie up. And they're showing me this image of all these loose threads, and you're trying to tie up all the loose ends. I think that's what it feels like for a lot of people during this month. And this Cancer energy, of course, emotions, water. What this card is saying, like, look for the divine all around you, look for the lessons. Like I said in the beginning, you are in a modern day mystery school. Everything that happens in your life is happening for you to get to know yourself better and for you to embody your higher self even more. So keep this in mind. Then, and I just said, look for the divine around you. And this here says, surrender to the divine. So that's what this is all about. This month is the beginning of a whole new year of surrendering to the flow of stuff that is going to be very unpredictable. And if you looked at the timeline reading for the year, it's going to be accelerated. 2025 is going to be accelerated. So the best thing to do is just to surrender to whatever presents itself. The last cloak, release old identities, magnificence realized. So that's what I felt in December. We were all slowly shedding old layers, old identities, because in 2005, you're not 2005, what am I? 2025, of course. You're not going to be able to hold on to the old ways. The old ways don't work anymore. A lot of the systems, this is also something that I said in the reading for 2025 with the Golden Dragons, that how the old systems worked, how things were done, things that worked for you personally in your life may not work anymore in 2025. So the best thing to do is when you see that things are not, that you are being asked to do things differently, to embrace new creative ways of problem solving, which is a pattern that I've been seeing is coming up for people's individual timeline readings. This is a theme that is coming up for people. Individual creative problem solving. Your higher self is going to force you to find better, different ways to solve problems in your life or conflict with people. That is going to force you to have to be resourceful. You're going to then see after this whole initiation, because this is a spiritual initiation, that you were able to do more and in different ways than you previously thought you were capable of. And this can apply to relationships this month, emotional patterns, breaking through old programming. It can also apply to integrating new spiritual concepts quickly, changing mindsets, accelerate. Like the word for 2025 really is acceleration. Then, manifestation prosperity is what this says. So even I feel like this is about if you're frustrated and you're not really seeing this month where you thought you were going to be. I see that there's comments. I'm going to go to the comments in a little bit when I'm done with these cards. So when you feel that these things are not going fast enough, you're not really where you are yet, and you see it's the beginning of the new year, a lot of people are then reflecting back on the old year. And I feel the energy is like, oh, we didn't get much accomplished. 2024 was a very energetically charged year. And 2025 is going to still be the same, but it's going to be easier. It's all going to become easier, and you're going to start to see the efforts of all the work that you put in 2024. And I also went deeper into that in the Golden Dragon timeline reading for 2025, so go check that out. But this is an energy that is definitely still going to be popping up for you in January specifically, and February is really you're going to see the difference. So this full moon in 4 days, focus on setting some intentions around that, and I'm going to help you with that in a little bit. We're going to do some clearing statements together. And then there's this new deck. It's not mine actually, it's Ryan's deck, and it's a Cryon Oracle deck. And I love Cryon. He's one of my favorite channelers. And I pulled a card from this deck, and it says Future Potentials. So, future potentials, that is what I'm feeling. Like this month, even if you don't see any movement happening yet, and it's not going fast enough yet, keep in mind that this is the foundation for the rest of the year and for all the future potentials is what I'm feeling. I'm quickly going to share a quote from this book, Anna, Grandmother of Jesus. I just randomly opened it at a certain page because I knew there was going to be a message in here for this full moon. So, whether you are participating in literal or figurative light conception, you are giving birth to the presence of the Christ in yourself. So you are literally birthing something new, and you are choosing to anchor into Christ consciousness. You are conceiving the Christ within you. This is a modern day mystery school. The month of January now, this full moon in 4 days, you can use this energy to really align with your higher self. And we're going to do that together with the Golden Dragons in a little bit. I'm quickly going to look at some of these comments now. And a few people are saying hello and thank you. Well, thank you for being here. Helen says, seeing this new outlook, that is great. And seeing through the illusion. Yes, indeed. And in the flow today, the timing is great. Yes, and staying in your heart, somebody says, definitely. That is all really important. And staying grounded. Staying grounded. So connecting with nature. Thanks to my sons again for placing me in an experience that I had to advocate for them. Yes, so that's a part of being forced to step outside of how things used to work for you. Now you may have to go and do things differently than how it worked before. And often we are motivated by the people that we love. If sometimes we don't necessarily do something for us, but we will do it for somebody else. So those can be examples of how you're going to effortlessly lean into these other sides of yourself that before maybe you've never had to lean into, or that you have never had to show other people. So yeah. Okay, so if you want, we're going to repeat some clearing statements. You can just repeat them in silence, or you can just listen to them with your eyes closed. And if you are getting the newsletter, then you can find them in the newsletter together with this video, or in the description if you're watching this later on YouTube. And if you're watching this now on Instagram, I suggest heading over to the newsletter so that you can later get these written down and you can repeat them for yourself. So you can close your eyes and just kind of listen to these statements. And they are all about this energy for January, the energy for this full moon right now, the energy for the new year. So we say, Golden Dragons, anywhere where I am holding on to subconscious resistance to trusting the flow of life, or feeling that I am not where I'm supposed to be, please clear, release, delete, and transmute this across all time, dimension, space, and reality, and all lifetimes that my soul has experienced, and replace this with unwavering trust that I'm exactly where I need to be, with perfect timing and divine alignment, fully embraced by the flow of Mother, Father, God. Golden dragons. Anywhere where I'm holding on to subconscious patterns of forcing or pushing energy instead of honoring the pace and flow of life, please clear, release, delete, and transmute this across all time, dimension, space, and reality, and all lifetimes that my soul has experienced, and replace this with the wisdom of water, to be gentle when needed, and to flow freely, and to embody forceful power only when necessary, always aligned with my highest good. Golden dragons. Anywhere where I'm holding on to feelings of overwhelm, being caught in a whirlwind, or being disconnected from emotional security, please clear, release, delete, and transmute this across all time, dimension, space, and reality, and all lifetimes that my soul has experienced, and replace this with the nurturing energy of emotional stability, connection, self-care, and allowing me to feel safe, secure, and supported in all aspects of my life. Golden dragons. Anywhere where I am holding on to subconscious fears of unveiling what has been hidden or unclear, please clear, release, delete, and transmute this across all time, dimension, space, and reality, and all lifetimes that my soul has experienced. Replace this with the clarity and curiosity of new insights, the adaptability to embrace fresh experiences, and the courage to explore and communicate my truth with ease and grace. One more. Golden dragons. Anywhere where I'm holding on to resistance to nurturing myself, or feeling disconnected from my emotional foundation during this full moon in Cancer and Gemini, please clear, release, delete, and transmute this across all time, dimension, space, and reality, and all lifetimes that my soul has experienced, and replace this with deep emotional nourishment, adaptability, and an open heart to explore new knowledge and experiences fully aligned with my divine purpose and energy of the lunar cycle. I hope that you were not too bothered by the background noise. There was a lot of noise going on. The walls are kind of thin. But so, let me know in the comments how these statements made you feel. What you felt, if there were specific statements that stood out more to you than others. If you're now live, or later if you're watching this on replay, let me know. You can use these statements around this full moon energy right now during the entire month of January, because this is the energy that is going to be coming up for this month. So definitely let me know how they made you feel. And this is kind of all I had to share, I think. So we kind of covered the energy for this month, how you can best navigate these energies. And in 4 days it is the full moon, so you can set intentions, work with these statements that I just gave you, work with these energies. You can kind of see what is coming up for you personally. And if you need help with that, definitely reach out to me for a session. And in my one-on-one sessions, we basically have a conversation about what is going on for you. And based on the entire conversation, I create these statements for you, personalized, channeled, based on what is happening in your life to work with. And you work with these statements for about a month. And this is how you're going to be able to invite these golden dragons in and work with the energy that is coming up for you in your life. Right now, I also still have some holiday sales going on. I have channeled dragon messages on sale for the holidays. I have the timeline readings on sale for the holidays. So, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be on sale. I think maybe for another week. So if you are interested in seeing what the year is going to look like for you, then definitely reach out and read up on these sales. Anything else? Subscribe to my newsletter, because soon I'm going to be offering a sale only through the newsletter on my one-on-one counseling, so my longer term mentorship. And yeah, go check on YouTube the reading that I did for 2025 with the Golden Dragons, is what I would say too, if you haven't checked that out yet. There are some comments. Let me see. The one that stood out to me was surrendering forcefulness. And I've been trying to force changes quickly in my life rather than allowing things to flow more naturally like water. So yeah, you could even tell yourself like a little affirmation, allow, or like higher self, please allow for my life to flow more like water. Something like that. So yeah, divine timing, or like higher self, please allow me to align more fully with the divine timing of my soul. Something like that. So yeah. Well, I had fun doing this little update for you, and if you are watching the replay, let me know how this made you feel. If you're interested in a reading for yourself, in a session, in anything, reach out to me, check out my website, and I will be back later with more videos, blogs, all kinds of stuff. Bye bye.